What up, Jim is here. Now, since June just came to an end, lots of really cool movies that I got to watch in the month of June. So here is my official June 2024 film ranking. And these are pretty much about 26 movies I got to watch in June. Of course, this is ranking from my least favorite to my favorite. All right. Now, the number 26, which is the worst film I saw in the month of June, and that is The Exorcism. Starring Russell Crowe as like this troubled actor who begins to unravel while shooting a horror film, and is a strange door wonders if he slipped back into his addiction. But there's of course a sinister that's at play, and he comes like possessed by a devil. I've already said in my review. This movie is awful. Russell Crowe. Why is he doing these type of roles? Is beyond me. He's such a great actor. So it's such a shame to see him doing stuff like this. The Post Exorcist. He's of course doing the Post Exorcist too. Why is beyond me. But yeah, this I've said it before. This is actually worse than Post Exorcist. Like this movie makes Post Exorcist look like an Oscar winner. So yeah. I mean, also you got Chloe Bailey, who I like, David Hyde Pierce. You got some really good talented people on board in this, but the movie itself just didn't do anything for me. All right, number 25, another terrible film of the month is Horizon and America Saga. This movie was just it was way too long, so there's that. It was completely boring at times. I didn't really care much for most of the characters involved. Of course, the film also wasn't just. It's pretty much now considered a flop. So, will they still release the second one? Still beyond me. I mean, tickets are already on sale, so I'm sure that they're still gonna release it. But yeah, I can't really say I'm more that excited for more Horizon movies. So if they were smart, like they should obviously release the second one because that's already tickets already on sale. But they decide to do a third and fourth one. I say just scrap the film and just make like a limited series or something out of it. But who knows? Maybe they'll do that. Maybe not. We'll see. All right, number 24 is Trigger Warning, another terrible film of the year. Starring Jessica Alba as like the Special Forces commander who returns to her hometown after her father's sudden death, only to afoul of a violent gang when she starts asking questions. And Jessica Alba, played her part okay, but this movie is just the dialogue's not so great. It was completely boring here. Nothing about it really made much sense. Yeah, it really was a terrible one. And shame too, because I really like seeing Jessica Alba back on screen, but here, she didn't do much for me. So hopefully she'll make a better comeback, but we'll see. All right, number 23 is a Tubi film, and that is Clickbait Unfollowed. It's about a group of influencers who are invited to a house for a competition with deadly consequences. And yeah, clickbait unquestioned, unfollowed is what it is. It's you don't need to like you should just unfollow it. It's terrible. The performances aren't great. Some of the kills are actually pretty decent, but yeah, this just really felt like a student play, and it's just not that good a film. All right, number 22 is Under Paris. Now, I wanted to like this one because I thought the trails looked cool, but nothing about it. Like, some of the, shark kills were pretty cool. Uh, but yeah, I really did not care for this one that much. I mean, I really think the Sharknado movies are far better than this, to be honest, yeah. But yeah, I mean, some of the acting, wasn't all that great. Some of the, dialogue wasn't all that good. It got pretty boring at times too. It was definitely just a generic shark movie. I mean, at least with stuff like Sharknado and Deep Blue Sea, at least there's more fun to have with those. But this one, yeah, and a terrible ending too. Like I really wish they had a better ending, but whatever. All right. Number 21 is Rock the Boat 2. Now, this is not really a great film, but I will say this is maybe one of Tubi's better films. Rock the Boat 2 is actually a follow-up to Tubi's Rock the Boat, which I actually decided to check out before I checked out the sequel. And now Rock the Boat also stars Parker McKenna Posey, who you might know as, not to be confused with Parker Posey from Scream 3. Parker McKenna Posey you might remember as Little Katie from the show My Wife and Kids. Talk about growing up there. I thought she was pretty decent. This is also produced by Marcus Houston. This time around, what's that? All right. Of Let me pull up the synopsis. Forgot what the synopsis is there. All right. Rockboat 2 plot. If you guys don't really know much about the plot for Rockboat 2, it's sort of like Millie who tries to pick up the pieces after her tragic past, but she's terrified when chaos follows her and her friends at Remove. I mean, this had some cool stuff going for it, but it just really lacked originality. It was just not all that great. Like some of the characters, you didn't really care much for. It was really cool to see Parker, McKenna, back on screen because I've always, I still remember her on My Wife and Kids, so seeing her in more, stuff here is pretty cool. But yeah, Rock the Boat Shoot wasn't all that great. All right, now here are my the films I do quite enjoy. Number 20 is Stop Motion. Now, actually, just this actually just premiered on Shutter, so I decided to give it a go there. It's where a talented stop motion animator becomes consumed by the gruesome world of horrifying creatures with deadly consequences. And this has some really cool stuff going for it. Like, I'll tell you, IMC and Shutter, I'm not gonna lie, they're actually doing better this year than Blumhouse has. Because Blumhouse so far had not had much hits this year. With Night Swim, Imaginary, but IMC and Shutter has been doing better than them. This year alone they had Late Night with the Devil, uh, thing that that slasher film that thing, what was it called again? Yeah, In a Violent Nature. Why did I freeze up on the name? In a Violent Nature, which was pretty good. So talk about really cool. Like they're having a better year than Blumhouse has this year. So yeah, and the stop motion stuff really looks like something out of like let's say an Aardman film or a Leica film. The stop motion animation stuff is completely creepy. So all right, number 19, I'm going with I Used to Be Funny. Now this is where stand-up comedian Sam, who struggles with PTSD and considers joining the search for her missing teenage for the search for a missing teen girl she used to out of here. And Rachel Sennett, who I'm actually becoming a fan of, like ever since I saw her in that movie Shiva Baby, I'm glad to see her branching out more here. She was at Spies. I actually thought she was one of the better parts of that terrible idol show on HBO. She was pretty solid in that. She's been good in other stuff I've seen her in. So I'm glad to see her branching out here, and I think she really played her part very well. She was very charming here. Some of her comedy scenes was pretty cool. I thought it was a really nice little film worth checking out. All right, number 18, I'm going with a film called Late Bloomer. Now this stars Karen Gillan, who plays this Brooklynite who meets a cranky elderly Polish woman, leading to a job that Neil likes. And the one who plays like the older lady, I don't remember her name, but I thought she was pretty solid in this. Karen Gillan was really charming in this. It was really touching at times. You also had Jermaine Fowler was also in this. Kevin Nealon, not a bad little film there. If you guys haven't seen it, all right. Number 17, I actually just saw this one, and that is the Celine Dion documentary, I Am Celine Dion. It is a love letter to fans, and where Celine Dion, who highlights the music that had guided her life, while also showcasing the resilience of the human spirit as she struggles with life altering illness. And this is really heartbreaking. Like if you're a huge Celine Dion fan, it is a little bit hard to watch because they're awesome. Like there is like one scene that really did maybe sad to say, but I thought it was a really decent documentary worth checking out. Celine Dion, obviously one of the most music icons of all time. It is a shame what she's dealing with, but still, the documentary is really interesting. Like if I say even if you're not like too big with Celine Dion, I think you'll still appreciate this documentary really well. And yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing like a new Celine Dion biopic down the line. Because Celine Dion is just she's just a music legend. From like I will always from of course the song from Titanic, to obviously Ashes for Deadpool 2. Who doesn't love Celine Dion, right? All right. Number 16 is another documentary, and that is Black Barbie, a documentary. It's where 83-year-old Aunt Beluia May Mitchell asks why not make a Barbie doll that looks like me. The story of the first Black Barbie begins. And this is a really intriguing documentary worth checking out because obviously we already know the Barbie a lot of girls know and love and all. But really cool that they showcase like the first ever Black Barbie, and you also had some really cool interviews by the woman who created the Barbie, of course Shonda Rhimes and all. I thought it was a really decent documentary worth checking out. All right, number 15 is another documentary that actually just premiered on Netflix recent, and that is Butterfly in the Sky, which chronicles the journeys of broadcasters, educators, and filmmakers who believed television could inspire a lifelong love of reading. Of course, this is a documentary about Reading Rainbow, and I grew up watching Reading Rainbow. That and Mr. Rogers was always the go-to iconic shows. In my heydays, and it's a trading one. Of course, you had interviews by LeVar Burton, interviews by some of the kids who grew up on the set of Ring Rainbow. It's a well put together documentary worth giving a go. All right, number 14, I'm going with Fancy Dance. Now, of course, it's just premiered on Apple, starring Lily Gladstone, whose sister's disappearance, and she has taken care of her niece Rocky and she decides to pretty much, let's say, kidnap her in a way, right? Kidnap her sister. She find her she decides to kidnap her niece, take her on a road trip to find her missing sister, and prepare for an upcoming powwow. And the young girl in this, Isabel Olsen, I thought she really played a part well. Her chemistry with Lily Gladstone, who, by the way, Lily Gladstone's once again really showcasing herself as an actress. That thanks to her Oscar nomination for Kills of Flower Moon, she was great in in uh under the Under the Bridge. I almost froze up on the name there. I almost said Under the Dome. Totally different Under. But Under the Bridge is a really decent doc worth checking out. Uh, Shea Winger was also in this. Erica Tremblay directed this. Great job there. Really good little film if you guys haven't seen it. All right, number 13, I'm going with Tuesday. Now, Tuesday, of course, stars Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and it's an A24 film about a mother and her daughter who must confront death and when it arrives in the form of a talking bird. And Tuesday is a really nice little film. Julia Louis Dreyfus was terrific. Lola Perchuk, who's playing her daughter, who is dying. I thought she was really wonderful. The visuals in this thing is stunning. I mean, I took the look of the bird was really cool. The cinematography was really decent. Really decent film we're checking out. All right. Number 12, I'm going with Am I Okay? Now, this stars Dakota Johnson, who also has that new movie, Daddy, which I still haven't seen yet. I'm hopefully going to see that maybe this week if it's still playing. So I'll probably add that at my July list, to be honest with you. But Am I Okay is a really decent one. Of course, it just premiered on Max, starring Dakota Johnson, Percy Clemens, and it's where Lucy and Jane, who has been best friends for most of their lives, and Jane pretty much announced that she's moved to London, while Lucy reveals that that she is gay. And I thought it was a really decent film here, directed by real life couple Tig Notaro and Stephanie Elaine, I think her name is. They both did a great job with this. Kirsty Clemens is great. Jermaine Fowler, second film on my list with him, and he's always terrific there. But this is a really decent film, worth giving a go. All right, number 11, I'm going with Remembering Gene Wilder. I mean, I love Gene Wilder. You know, from Willy Wonka to Blazing Saddle. You know, so of course they actually ended up releasing the Gene Wilder documentary on Netflix this month, and I decided to go watch it. It's a wonderful documentary worth checking out. It'll definitely put you to tears. Had interviews from the likes, of his real life widow. You also had the interviews by the likes of Mel Brooks, Eric McCormack from Will and Grace fame, because remember Gene Wilder had a fun guest spot on Will and Grace. Yeah, I mean it's a really terrific one. Shows never before seen footage of Gene Wilder. Really showcase like you also actually, despite him not being around, you were able to have footage of him pretty much being interviewed. I always like that documentary. It's like where like you don't really have interviews by the people who know them, but it's actually interview with the person himself, even though they're not with us. Like the Stan Lee documentary on that premiere, you didn't really have like interviews by people who knew him. It was pretty much like alternate footage of him like talk talk. So I thought that was really cool to see. I mean, it's a really well put together documentary worth giving. All right, now here's my official top 10 favorite movies of June. Number 10 is A Family Affair, starring Joey King, Zach Efron, Nicole Kidman, Kathy Bates. Of course, you have Zach Efron, who plays Joey King's um, pretty much boss, movie star boss, who ends up having pretty much a relationship with Joey King's mother in this, played by Nicole Kidman, and it's a really decent one. You had Liza Kosher was in this, much better than Harry Touches Bank, because Netflix movies again could be a hit and miss. I just had Trigger Warning in my worst list, so they've done some terrible stuff, but this is definitely one of the films like that. It's not as cringy as most Netflix films are. It definitely has some heart to it. Really charming. Joey King, Zac Efron, Nicole Kidman are pretty good. Really nice little film to give a go. All right, number 9, I'm going with The Watchers, starring Dakota, almost said Johnson, Dakota Fanning. You also had, Georgiana Campbell, directed by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, Aishana Night Shyamalan, which, by the way, I saw the trailer for M. Night's, the new trailer for M. Night's new film, Trap. I hope the trailer drops, because, I cannot wait for that. I mean, this is like the year of the Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan's daughter just had this. M. Night has his new film Trap. This is like the Shyamalan year, right? But yeah, this is a really intriguing one. Dakota Fanning was great. This didn't really get much love at. This didn't really get much great reviews, but I actually thought it was much better than most people make it out to be. Like, is it going to be my top 10 favorite horror films of the year? Possibly not. It's just a really decent one worth giving a go. All right. Number 8, I'm going with A Quiet Place Day One. Now, I know people probably have this up a little higher, but to be honest, my top 7, I enjoy a tad bit better. But A Quiet Place Day One, it's not as good as like the first Quiet Place or anything like that. But I thought it was pretty decent nonetheless. Lupita Nyong'o was terrific. This really does serve more as like a prequel and a spin-off. I cannot wait. After seeing this, I cannot wait to see more Quiet Place films, because I'm pretty sure we're going to get a third one. Uh, I wonder how, like, could there be a possibility we see Lupita in the third one? Who knows? But yeah, Quiet Place Day One's a really decent one we're checking out. All right, number 7, I'm going with Bratz. Now, of course, this is explores the Brat Pack, a group of young actors who frankly appear together in coming of age films, and you have the director Anthony McCarthy, who's actually traveling down to interview people such as Emilio Estevez, Timothy Hutton, Demi Moore, Leah Thompson, John Cryer. I still find it weird that they didn't have interviews by the likes of John Nelson or Molly Ringwald. I still find that a little odd, but it's still really decent documentary. Because listen, before I was not around the '80s, so I never really got to experience what the Brat Pack was really like in the '80s. I didn't really watch like the Breakfast Club, you know, until I was like maybe in my probably until I was like 10 or something like that. I was ashamed that high school was never like high school in the '80s, but whatever. Uh, but yeah, Bratz is a really decent one. I'm just glad they're not called Bratz, like with a Z, like the DOS. But still, it is a really decent documentary, worth giving a go. Like if you're a fan of the Brat Pack era, you'll definitely appreciate this movie a lot. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, by the way, it's on Hulu. All right. Number six, I'm going with Kinds of Kindness. Of course, this is a anthology film that consists of three distant but loosely connected stories, starring the likes of Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, William Dafoe, Margaret Qualley, Hunter Schafer was in this. It's a really decent one. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I think it is a little better than Poor Things in my opinion. Emma Stone was terrific in this. The other cast of characters was great. Some of the storylines I thought was pretty decent. This is of course an anthology film, which I'm hearing people saying that this could not get any Oscar buzz because it is an anthology, which I don't think there has been anthology films that got Oscar love, but whatever. Um, yeah, and Yorgos Lanthimos I thought did a wonderful job here. Really directing these actors perfectly here. I mean, it's a really decent film, worth giving a go. All right. Number five, I'm going with The Bike Riders. Starring Jodie Comer, Austin Butler. Depicts the lives of Vandals Motorcycle Club, a fictional version of the Outlaw Motorcycle Club here. Mike Face was terrific. Micah Shannon, directed by Jeff Nichols. It is a really excellent one. Jodie Comer, given like a New Jersey accent, was really cool to hear. Austin Butler, once again, become one of the best actors in the business, from Elvis to Doom Part 2, now this. Talk about a great career he's been having. Norman Reedus was terrific in this. Mike Face. Some really terrific supporting players involved. I mean, if you guys have not seen The Bike Riders, and sadly, because of the box office, I don't think many people have seen it. But if you guys haven't seen it, highly recommend it. All right, number four, I'm going with Delma. Delma is a really terrific one, starring June Squibb as this 93-year-old grandmother who loses $10,000 to a con artist on the phone with the help of a friend and his most motorized scooter, played by the late great Richard Roundtree. They embark on a treacherous journey across LA to reclaim what was taken from her. And unlike the beekeeper, like she doesn't, go out and actually fight people and nothing like that. But she gets pretty down and out. Like, she's 93 and the woman still has it. Crazily, this is based on a true story. Like, this is actually based on what really happened to the director's grandmother. So, like, you can actually see a really heartfelt video. You can probably find it on Twitter where like June Squibb is meeting the real life Delma, who I believe is like now 100 or something like that. God bless her. But yeah, it's a shame that stuff like this really does happen to older people. But this one really shows a great length of what will happen if you continue to do it. Like, you never know if a real life grandma will actually go out and reclaim what's hers here. But yeah, Delma is a really nice little charming film worth giving a go. All right, number three, I'm going with Richard Linklater's Hitman, starring Glenn Powell, Audrey Ajona, Retta, and follows an undercover New Orleans police contractor who poses as a reliable hitman as he relies to tries to save a woman in need. And Hitman is a really terrific one. Glenn Powell's terrific. This is definitely one of the better Netflix movies of the year. It has lots of heart too. It is a rom com as well. Richard Linklater is pretty much one of my favorite filmmakers. Like, Richard Linklater could do no wrong. Um, Glenn Powell again was terrific. It is a really wonderful movie worth giving a go. All right, my number two favorite is of course Inside Out 2. Uh, the first $1 billion film of the whole year, by the way, of the year so far. So take that for granted. Start. Who would ever expect this would be a $1 billion hit? I mean, I knew it was going to be a hit, but a $1 billion hit, that I would not have expected. But hey, well deserved there. It's I still don't know if I really prefer over the original though. I'm still really always debating if it's better than the original. But it is my favorite Pixar movie since Turning Red. I mean, the other Pixar movies that got released, like Lightyear, was whatever. Elementary was a Elementary. Elemental was okay. But this was pretty much the best Pixar movie I've seen since Turning Red. It's so heartfelt, so touching. You're of course the characters like anxiety, uh, nostalgia. By the way, Chujin Squib movies on my list, so kudos to Chujin Squib. Uh, it's just an incredible film worth giving a go. And whether they do a third one, that's beyond me. But with these box office numbers, I'm still calling right now. By D23, we're gonna hear an announcement about Part 3. That's my prediction, but we'll see. And my number one favorite film of June is Bad Boys Ride or Die. I'm sorry, I probably could have added Inside Out 2 as my number one. I just had so much fun with Bad Boys Ride or Die. It is a lot of fun. So entertaining. The chemistry between Will Smith and Marlon Lawrence is still up there. The directors, I know people are saying that they shouldn't have canceled Batgirl, but hey, maybe they did not, because how good these directors were. They didn't want like Batgirl to be like put them in movie jail. So maybe that could be another reason why they decided can Batgirl. Uh, but yeah, I think this movie is a lot of fun. Rumor has it that the directors might be doing Spider-Man 4, and you know what? If they are chosen, sign me up there. That aside, yeah, Bad Boys Ride or Die is just a lot of fun, worth giving a go. So entertaining. Eric Dane's a great villain. It's a really terrific one. Uh, I don't know if it's maybe the best since the original, probably. But yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it there. Now here is my ranking. All right. 26 The Exorcist, 25 Horizon, 24 Trigger Warning, 23 Clickbait Unfollowed, 22 Under Paris, 21 Rock the Boat 2, 20 Stop Motion, 19 I Used to Be Funny, 18 Late Bloomer, 17 I Am Celine Dion, 16 Black Barbie, a documentary, 15 Butterfly in the Sky, 14 Fancy Dance, 13 Tuesday, 12 I Okay, 11 Remembering Jane Wilder, 10 A Family Affair, 9 The Watchers, 8 A Quiet Place Day 1, 7 Bratz, 6 Kinds of Kindness, 5 The Bike Riders, 4 Delma, 3 Hitman, 2 Inside Out 2, and number 1 Bad Boys Ride or Die. Let me let you guys. What were some of your best and worst films of June? What would your ranking be? Which movie did you enjoy the most? Which one you thought was terrible? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Simon Siren.